Thank you. I'm going to try and get this right. Howdy. Is that okay? My closest education is watching the TV show Yellowstone, which I'm addicted to. I would just like to make one correction in Richard's introduction. I own the sign company, not my husband. He works for me. Gordon and Heather, Vicki and Tim, Pat, Ron and Jetta, John, Michael, my aide, DG Mindy, and most importantly, all of our presidents-elect and president's nominee. It is such an honor and a privilege to be with you today. I want you to know I didn't quote Winston Churchill because Gordon and Heather are here. I would like you to just read this quote and know that we will come back to it. $485 billion was donated in charitable giving in the United States alone in 2021. Of this, $350 million was contributed to our Rotary Foundation. It's a really incredible number. However, it is 7/1000ths of 1% of $485 billion. Can we do better than that? Okay, that's not a rhetorical question. Can we do better than that? I do believe so as well. Of our $350 million, which I am not minimizing at all, $100 million plus was raised for Polio Plus. We had 467 district grants totaling $31.1 million. We had 55 disaster response grants totaling $3.1 million. We had 2,066 global grants totaling $130 million. And Rotarians globally contributed $15 million to our Ukraine Disaster Response Fund. Thank you. And a new Ukraine Disaster Response Fund has been opened by the trustees in addition to a disaster response fund for Pakistan, following their flooding there. So, just so you know, please be generous. We are truly going from good to great. But do we all support our Rotary Foundation, which I consider to be the greatest foundation in the world? Only 20% of all Rotary clubs and/or members support the annual fund of the Rotary Foundation. 20%. 7% of our members contribute at least $1,000 annually. How can we increase our member engagement and giving? I would like to ask each and every one of you to be an active participant in increasing your club's awareness of our foundation and asking each of our members to consider a personal contribution. We need to talk about what our foundation does. And I just gave you some numbers in terms of what kind of output we have with grants. We need to be sharing with our membership what our clubs have been doing, not only to support the foundation, but to utilize that money in our local and global communities. How many of your clubs participate in a district grant? That's a lot. Some of that money that you're getting from the foundation, from your district designated fund, is other people's support and contributions if you as a club are not supporting the foundation. Think about that. Someone else gave that money to support a program or project that you are implementing in your community or in a global grant. Each of us, whether we're the president-elect, president nominee, a district leader, any of us as Rotarians, need to be asking our fellow Rotarians to support the foundation. As Richard mentioned, I attended my own pets in 1993. I was 10. My district governor at the time, Don Mayo, was a phenomenal leader. And I came away from my pets so excited, I don't think the wheels on my car ever touched the ground. He talked about this thing called free money. I thought, oh my gosh, I gotta get my hands on that free money. That is so cool. The bad thing was I went to pets alone. I didn't carpool with somebody else who could have kept my enthusiasm up. Because in the 2-hour drive home, I had too much time to think about, oh my gosh, how am I going to do that? At the time, our club probably supported the foundation with a $2,000 contribution on an annual basis, but it was from the club. We weren't asking our individual Rotarians to contribute to the Rotary Foundation. I was pretty sure that I could change that culture, at least for most of that 2-hour drive back. But then, you think there's a really big gap between March and July. I did have one advantage going for me that I really didn't capitalize on, and that was I was the first woman president of my club. And I don't want to be insulting to Ron as a past president or to Gordon as our president-elect, but I can't remember what the hell our theme was the year I was president. I can't even remember who the president was at the time. So I decided I needed to have my own theme, and I needed to make it personal. So my theme for that year was, I have PMS. And the beauty of that theme is, they didn't know if I did or didn't. Anytime I asked for something, the answer was yes. It still is. We need to make sure that our members understand our Rotary Foundation. There is no other organization that I'm aware of that uses the same funding model as our Rotary Foundation. When I give $100, in 3 years I can expect the majority of that $100 to come back to my district's designated fund. I know we have lots of worthy causes out in the world, but when I give to any of them, I don't have any expectation that I will have the opportunity to direct where my gift goes. The Rotary Foundation allows us that opportunity. This is the program that changed everything in my estimation. I think it started in about 2005, 2006, right around our centennial. And we finally had the tools to begin asking our members to contribute to the Rotary Foundation. We put together a committee in my club, and we all divvied up the names of members that we would call and ask if they would give a minimum of $100 a year to our Rotary Foundation. So we had a committee of 10 or 12, and they all picked their friends. Of course, who are you going to give to? Somebody you know. I got the leftovers. And I'm telling you, I got the best of the bunch. Because remember, I have PMS. And to a person, everyone I called on said, I love the foundation. How much do you want? And I'd say a minimum of $100, and they would tell me what they would be comfortable with. Now remember, or I should tell you, my club had very successfully used the Rotary Foundation. We had 3 GSE team leaders. We sponsored at least 5 GSE team members. We sponsored at least 5 ambassadorial scholars, and this is just in my tenure in the club. I think we actually owed the foundation close to $50,000. So when I say we're using someone else's money, I speak from personal experience. Our club is now starting to catch up, and I'm very proud of that. But I called one member who I didn't get to see a lot. He was a relatively young member, and I said, Greg, this is what we're doing to support our Rotary Foundation. Talked a little bit, and he said, what do you want? And I said, I want a minimum of $100. How do I pay for it? I said, well, put it on your dues. Okay, I can do $100. And come back to me, and I'll increase that next year. Young business, young family, young Rotarian. I don't want to hear that they don't have any money. We can't be making decisions for other people. We need to be asking every single one of our members to support our foundation. How many of you go to Starbucks? I'm not judging. Nobody here goes to Starbucks? That's crazy. Aren't there any Starbucks in Texas? Okay, I'm not judging. Come on. Okay, really, how many of you go to Starbucks? See, that's what I thought. Cool. Okay, I don't drink coffee, so I don't go to Starbucks, but I understand they're kind of pricey. If you gave up 1 Starbucks a week, you could be supporting the Rotary Foundation to the tune of $365 a year. That's pretty cool. Think about it. Oh, wrong one. Did I skip one? We did that. Okay. He came a little early. Not really. This is my grandson, Dexter. He's really a lucky guy, beyond having me as his grandma. He is fortunate to have safe water. He is already in a great daycare center that is teaching him many of his basic skills. Early in his life, in addition to all the childhood immunizations, he had his polio vaccines. And I am so proud to know that I am part of that. His mom, my daughter, is an insulin-dependent diabetic. Thanks to good health care, she was able to have a safe pregnancy and delivery. Dexter will have the opportunity to put his education to use and be a contributing member of our civilized society. His parents and teachers are helping him understand the value of kindness. Kindness to all. He is part of positive peace. He's learning how to take care of his world, being a good caregiver of our environment, to the point that he actually is so good about throwing things in the recycle bin that he threw a pair of tennis shoes away without his parents' knowledge. Dexter is one reason I give to the Rotary Foundation. We all have our reasons. Please encourage your members to tell their stories so that others will understand the value. Okay, now we're back to this. I love Winston Churchill, and I love his leadership, which inspires me. I never gave them courage. I was able to focus theirs. He said that right at the end of World War II when someone was complimenting him on his leadership through the war. I recently had a conversation with a Rotarian by the name of Clayton Lee, who is very committed to helping us understand that we need to think bigger in terms of our global grants. As clubs, we can provide the input, money, and collaboratively and collectively, we have the opportunity to provide tremendous outcomes for millions of people through our global grant efforts. But it all does start with our personal support of the Rotary Foundation. Again, what I consider to be the greatest foundation in the world. We have the power within each of our clubs and our members to facilitate change. And all we have to do is ask. You don't need to give your members courage. You simply need to help them find theirs. Thank you.